Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has traveled to neighboring Moldova, where 47 European leaders are meeting to discuss Russia's aggression in the region. Zelensky said that his country is ready to join the NATO military alliance.
We spoke about our bilateral relations, about, I think, some infrastructure, very principal priority projects, and we will sign in the closest future. I think what is very important, our future in EU, and Ukraine is ready to be in NATO. We are waiting when NATO will be ready to host and to have Ukraine. And I think security guarantees are very important, not only for Ukraine, for our neighbors, for Moldova, because of the Russia and of their aggression in Ukraine and potential aggression for other parts of Europe. I think Stoltenberg supporting us and supported when I had bilateral meeting with him, but it's that we need all the unity through our alliance. And we work on it. When we'll win, the war will stop, or Russia can stop this war earlier. They can go out to their independent territory from our territory. I think that is the answer.
Well, for the very latest, we can speak now to Arise Chief Correspondent John Cookson, who is in the Ukrainian city of Kyiv. Well, John, thank you so much for joining us. Now, what more can you tell us about the latest attack on Kyiv?
Hi there, a pleasure to be on Newsday as always. Well, another night of terror and violence in Kyiv. It's the fourth attack this week, and sadly, 3 people have lost their lives. I can tell you that they might have been saved had a underground bunker been opened. A shelter was unfortunately locked. They tried to get in, but they couldn't, and these 2 adults and 1 child died in last night's attack. Now, the mayor of Kyiv has now sacked a couple of officials who were in charge of security and safety in Kyiv. And in fact, checks are being made across the country to make sure that these underground shelters that you'll find everywhere across Ukraine are actually open for people to get into if the air raid sirens come. Here in Kyiv, on the eastern flank of Ukraine, about 30 kilometers or so from the Russian border, we've had about 4 or 5 air raid warnings already today, but no rockets or other explosions have been heard in the city. So tension as always in this part of the country. And of course, condolences for those people who died in Kyiv overnight. I'm afraid it's just the latest in a long-running battle by Russia to sap the morale of the Ukrainian people by this indiscriminate bombing of various Ukrainian cities.
Well, very sad indeed. Now, John, we understand that anti-Putin Russian militias are claiming they have once again crossed the border from Ukraine and are trying to seize a Russian frontier town. Now, are these reports true?
I've been checking with the Ukrainian government. I put an early call in as soon as I heard the story this morning about the Freedom for Russia Legion and the Russian Volunteer Corps, who sprang to world headlines last week when they crossed the border from Ukraine into Russia and attacked the city of Belgorod. The Russians there killing a number of them, and they were repelled ultimately. Now, there were tweets this morning suggesting that the same group of irregulars had crossed the border once again and struck at Sheprikino, which is a town south of Belgorod. Now, the mayor of that locale says no, there's been no border crossing, although, as we've seen from the images, a number of buildings have been set on fire. So the Ukrainian government have not come back to me with an answer as to whether the story is factually true or not, whether these irregulars have once again crossed the border. So it's an open question at the moment. They are suggesting that they have in a tweet, but there's no official confirmation that they indeed did cross the border today.
Well, but one thing that we know is true is that President Zelensky is in neighboring Moldova at an international conference. What is he trying to achieve?
There's three things there. Moldova, of course, a neighbor of Ukraine, and played an absolutely sterling role in hosting refugees from Ukraine when the war broke out a year last February, supporting Ukraine fully. This group that he attended today is been set up by President Macron of France, and is really aimed at countries hoping to join the European Union, of which Ukraine wants to do that. And he's been pressing the case for Ukraine to join the EU, which I think he has a reasonable chance. But first of all, the war has to be over. There's no way that Ukraine will join the EU whilst the war is going on. Secondly, to press Ukraine's case for joining NATO. Now, NATO is not unified in its view on whether Ukraine should be admitted. And then once again, NATO members are saying that the war must end before NATO can really consider bringing Ukraine into the transatlantic alliance. And the main reason for that, of course, is Article 5 of the Charter, which says that an attack on one country is an attack on all. And Article 5 has only been invoked once before. That was after 9/11 and the attack on the United States. So there is no, whilst the war is going on, there's no way that Ukraine is going to be admitted to NATO. Now, whether it might be invited to join NATO is another question that will be considered at a NATO conference next month in Vilnius.
Now, John, as part of your in-depth coverage of the war in Ukraine, you've been to a special center for children traumatized by war. What more can you tell us about the therapy treatment?
Yes, I had a terrific experience this morning. You can get so depressed about this conflict, but there are reasons for hope. And sadly, at least 500 children have been killed since the Russian invasion a year last February, and 1,000 have been seriously hurt. And some of them, without parents, have arrived here in Kyiv. And I've been to a therapy session today. You can see images of it there. And kids are being encouraged to paint weapons of war. They're painting a shell casing there. A shell case, of course, representing death and destruction. And they've seen so much of these kids. But now they're being encouraged to paint these shell casings and bullets in bright colors to symbolize that they do have a future, and the future is bright. And it's something that's being tested on children in Kyiv, and if it works, if as it seems to do, then it's going to be repeated elsewhere in Ukraine. But a full report from me on that new initiative on ANH later today.
All right, Chief Correspondent John Cookson, thanks so much for joining us on Newsday. Well done, and please stay safe.